So very good morning, students. Today we are going enter into the some basic concepts of states of matter. Some laws also we will be dealing. If you divide the states of matter, how many types we can categorize that is into five types. One is solid state, one is liquid state, one is gaseous state, other is plasma state, and one more is Bohr-Einstein condensate. So the states of matter means the physical form of appearance of a matter can be categorized into five types, but these two states, that is plasma as well as Bohr-Einstein condensate, cannot be seen on the earth. Those can be seen in somewhere places like on the sun. So basically regarding these two we will not be dealing, and regarding these three, one topic one physical form of matter, we have one chapter. There is a chapter called as solid state, there is a chapter called as solutions where you will be learning regarding the liquid state, and one more chapter called as our gaseous state. Now what we are going to deal regarding that. So suppose if you take something like force of attraction between the particles, if the force of attraction between the particles is considered as mutual attraction, and the escaping of the molecules from each other means one molecule is escaping from the other to avoid the effect of that molecule on the other molecule, that is called as escaping tendency. If mutual attraction is greater than the escaping tendency, then that particle will be existing in the solid state. If the mutual attraction will be equal to the escaping tendency, then the molecule is said to be in the liquid state. If the mutual attraction is less than the escaping tendency, then the entire matter tries to be exist in the gaseous state. So before going to this, we should know some properties of the gases, what they can be counted. So gaseous, there are some properties which can be measured for gases. So gaseous property depends upon the fact that is, one is pressure, one is temperature, and generally we can see the nature of matter at. So if you want to see the matter in the gaseous state, what are the conditions you should be requiring? The generally required condition for a matter to observe in the gaseous state is the pressure should be very low. See, if the pressure is very low, what happens to the volume? The volume will be very larger, so that gas molecules can freely move. So that if you maintain the low pressure, the matter generally tries to be exist in the gaseous state. And if you go with respect to temperature, if you increase the temperature, what happens? The molecules kinetic energy goes on increasing, so that all the matter tries to gets converted into the gaseous state. So these are the two conditions that required for a matter to exist in the gaseous state. One is low pressure and the other is high temperature. And the measurable properties of the gases, if you see the measurable properties, one is mass. So from your 6th standard onwards you will be learning regarding this one. So take an empty vessel, weigh that vessel, it will be something like W1 grams. Now fill that vessel with some gas. Now weigh the vessel, it will be W2 grams. Now differentiate. So W2 grams minus W1 grams means you are removing the weight of the empty cylinder, so that you will be getting the weight of the gas, whatever that is present in the container, right? And you learn this term, one term that is called as number of moles. Moles, this indicate mass of the gas by molecular weight of the gas. See, again I am repeating, moles. Moles is the term what you will be taking, mass of the gas, amount of the gas, whatever that is present in terms of grams, and molecular weight of the gas. How to calculate the molecular weight of the gas? Yesterday itself I have mentioned you that you should calculate how you will be calculating the molecular weights of the compounds, right? I hope that you have calculated all the weights of these molecules yesterday, the work that I have given, right? So in this way, if you want to calculate the moles, it is mass of the gas by molecular weight of the gas. Both should be taken in the grams itself. This is one of the measurable property of the gas. Suppose if you go for the one more property called as volume. So gases occupies the volume of the container. So whatever the container you take, it will occupy the volume of the container in which they are placed. Suppose I am taking a vessel which is of 10 liters. I am placing the gas in that. So it occupies entire 10 volume, right? And in one more case, it can be said that it will be occupying the available free space in the container. Suppose if I am taking 10 liters container, in that 1 liter, up to 1 liter, it is filled up with sand. So if I pass gas into that cylinder, now how much volume does it occupy? It occupies only 9 liters, because already 1 liter it is occupied by gases. So take this example, suppose this is the container, you are having, this is of 10 liters and 2 liters, it is filled with some rocks. If you pass the gas into this one, what happens? This gas will not occupy entire 10 liters, it will occupy only 8 liters, right? Only the available free space will be occupied by the gas. Suppose if you take in this container, if you pass the gas into this 10 liters vessel, what happens? It occupies the entire volume. And note this point, students. Suppose you are taking a container of 10 liters. Let me take, instead of 10 liters, it is 2 liters. Now you are passing O2 gas into the 2 liters container, as well as H2 gas, as well as N2 gas into this container. Means you are having how many gases here? O2, N2, H2. O2, N2 and H2. Now if I ask, the volume occupied by the O2 is, we should not make this entire container into 3 parts. Let me take, this is 3 liters instead of 3. 2, let me take it as 3. So if I ask now what is the volume occupied by the oxygen, you should not tell that it has 1 liter. If I ask N2, you should not take 1 liter. So here, volume of the container, entire container will be filled up with oxygen. So it is occupying 3 liters. If I go for nitrogen, it is also occupying 3 liters. If I go for hydrogen, it is also occupying 3 liters. So, and you remember that these 3 gases, whatever that you are taking in the container, those should be non-reacting. They should not, this O2 should not react with N2. H2 as well as whenever these are non-reacting gases only, then this is applicable. We will be learning with respect to this one in Dalton's law of partial pressures. So with respect to volume, if you go for units, these are the most important things you should keep in your mind while solving the problems. 1 meter cube will be equal to 1000 decimeter cube, right? 1000 decimeter cube. And if you want to convert that into centimeters, it will become 10 power 6 centimeter cube. Or 1 centimeter cube will be equal to 1 ml. 1 cubic centimeter is always 1 ml. So it will be 10 power 6 ml. And if you want to convert that into millimeters, so that one will be 10 power 9 millimeters cube. There is one more conversion, that is 1 liter will be equal to 1 decimeter cube. And you already know that 1 liter will be equal to 1000 ml, means 1000 decimeter cubes. And in terms of centimeter cube, already you know that 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube. Suppose you are having 1000 ml, so it is 1000 cubic centimeters. And these units are the utmost things you should remember while solving the problems.